Thank you for joining with us here today. Our Creator endowed us with the right to life, and yet millions of children lose their right to life every year because of abortion. In Texas, we work to save those lives. And that's exactly what the Texas legislature did this session. They worked together on a bipartisan basis to pass a bill that I'm about to sign that ensures that the life of every unborn child who has a heartbeat will be saved from the ravages of abortion. I want to thank the entire legislature, both Republicans and Democrats, for stepping up to stand for life. And I want to thank the lead authors of this, Senator Brian Hughes, Representative Slauson. Thank you so much for your leadership. And also want to thank all of the pro-life groups who joined with us here today, but also who worked tirelessly during the course of the session to make sure this bill got passed, and for everything they do to cultivate a culture of life in Texas. I want to thank the Lieutenant Governor and the Speaker also for their leadership in this effort. Now, we're about to make it law.
All right, my airborne brothers, here's one to pay attention to. Actually, I do believe this has been about, I think 4 years ago, I started talking about this, and me and I'm trying to remember her name. She was an attorney, and we're going back and forth about this. I'll probably have to dig it up and find out exactly what video it was, because it's been so long ago, it's slipping my mind. But we were going back and forth about this, about them passing an abortion bill, or an anti-abortion push. And this is headed toward the Supreme Court. In fact, I think do believe they're supposed to be doing hearings on the Mississippi heartbeat bill, similar to this one. I think there's about 10 or 12 of these floating around in various states. And if the GOP states, red states, are any indication, I would assume that a lot of these red states will probably adopt this if the Supreme Court or these heartbeat bills actually pass. But Texas is right in line with this. So I'm going to read this, and we'll talk about it on the other side. Governor Greg Abbott signed fetal heartbeat bill, banning most abortions in Texas. Governor Greg Abbott signed into law legislation that prohibits abortion once a fetal heartbeat is detected, effectively banning most abortions in the state. The restriction puts Texas at the vanguard among states challenging the boundaries of Roe v. Wade, the 1973 landmark Supreme Court case that established a woman's legal right to an abortion. In fact, I think Roe and Wade came out of Texas in the first place. It'd be interesting if that history repeats itself or even reverses itself. Senate Bill 8, a priority for Republican state lawmakers, would allow virtually any private citizen to sue an abortion provider or others who aid and abet an abortion in violation of the new ban. The bill sailed through the Senate and the House, despite fervent opposition from Democrats. Flanked by Republican lawmakers in his Capitol office, Abbott made good on his promise to sign the bill at a ceremony that was closed to the media and broadcast on Facebook. Interesting. Our Creator endowed us with the right to life, and yet millions of children lose their right to life every year because of abortion, Abbott said before signing the bill. In Texas, we work to save those lives, and that's exactly what the Texas legislature did this session. In 2020, the state reported about 53,000 abortions. Wow. According to data from the Texas Health and Human Services Commission. The data show that the number of abortions performed in Texas annually has declined dramatically since 2001, which abortion has dramatically declined. There is not a specific time frame tied to SB 8. Fetal heartbeats can be detected as early as 6 weeks gestation or 6 weeks from a woman's last menstrual period, not since the start of her pregnancy, according to the American Congress of Obstetricians and Gynecologists. When a heartbeat is detected, that innocent unborn life is protected. tweeted Representative Shelby Slauson, Republican Stephenville, author of an identical bill in the House. Opponents of the law, which goes into effect September 1st, argued that it would prohibit abortions before most women are even aware that they are pregnant, effectively outlawing the procedure. It also does not include exceptions in the case of rape or incest, a caveat that has long been the standard in abortion laws. For a person with a normal menstrual cycle that is only 2 weeks after a missed period, said Diana Limon Mercado, executive director of Planned Parenthood Texas Votes. In a statement, when you factor in the time it takes to confirm a pregnancy, consider your options and make a decision. Schedule an appointment and comply with all the restrictions politicians have already put in place for patients and providers. A 6-week ban essentially bans abortions outright. The proposal was of an aggressive agenda from abortion opponents this year's legislative session, which included numerous proposals designed to severely limit the availability of the procedure with an eye to the changing power dynamics at the Supreme Court. Conservatives now hold a 6-3 majority on the High Court. Drusilla Tigner, a policy and advocacy strategist at the American Civil Liberties Union of Texas, said the new law is the most extreme abortion ban in the country. Not only does this ban violate more than half a century of Supreme Court case law, it paves the way for anti-choice extremists to use our court system to go after anyone who performs abortions or considers supporting a person that has one, Tigner said in a statement. But make no mistake, abortion is both legal in Texas and supported by the majority of Texans. The governor's swipe of a pen can't change the Constitution. That is very true. It's not supposed to. Senator Brian Hughes, author of SB 8, said he hopes it will serve as an example for other states looking to restrict abortion. The Texas Heartbeat Act is the most powerful pro-life legislation in Texas history and will stand as a model for the country, he said in a tweet. Federal judges have blocked similar laws in other states, but proponents of the legislation in Texas are hopeful by prohibiting public officials from enforcing the law and leaving it up to private citizens to sue violators. The law can pass legal muster. This provision of the law has drawn intense criticism from lawyers, 400 of whom wrote a letter to lawmakers warning that the language used in the legislation is exceptionally broad and would create an unprecedented cause of action that subverts the foundation of our judicial system. Anyway, this is just a sign of what's going to happen in the future. The signs were already there with the first heartbeat bill. And I knew what it was. It's the bill. The laws here are actually there to entice the Supreme Court to make a decision. So all these heartbeat bills are there just for that. Even though the federal judges will block it, and send it to the Supreme Court. And once the Supreme Court rules on it, which who knows? Well, who knows? Even though it's a 6-3 conservative majority, there's no telling. But if precedent holds and they do allow this heartbeat bill to go through, you're going to have a big surge in pregnancies, which is what they really want, which is what it's really for. You got, 1 million pregnancies, a million abortions. Imagine if half of those are actually eliminated, you're going to have a lot more babies. But that's just one side of it. What happens to the other side? That means a lot more brothers, a lot more people are going to be getting hit with child support because they're going to come down on you because they're going to need a way to pay for these babies. And guess who the scapegoat is? It's going to be you. So we're getting more of a conservative country. There's a double-sided sword to this. They're going to force these chicks to have babies when they get pregnant, and they're going to force you to take care of them. So if the Supreme Court allows these bills and they change the law, and they almost convert all these women to a handmaid's tale where they're forced to have these kids, beware. Make sure you don't get caught up. Make sure that you strap up unless you want to get caught on one of the wrong side of these bills. And part of the heartbeat bill is, at least most of them, I haven't read the one in Texas, but most of them have prenatal paternity tests where they take the blood of the woman and match it with your DNA, and you have to start paying child support before the baby's even born. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I don't know if that's good or bad. But I'm just saying, beware. Well, one thing it will start doing is we're going to have a whole lot of paternity testing and a whole lot of seeing who the daddy is, see who they blame it on and who the actual father is. Because if they're going to have the baby, they want child support, they're going to have a paternity test. I do believe it's mandatory. So I'm quite interested to see how this is going to turn out. I'm glad I'm not in the mix anymore. Because if I was a young man, I'd be awfully worried. So that sometimes, boss, be careful what you wish for. Because a lot of our pro-blacks and even some of our conservative men want a rollback on abortion or less abortions. And that's on the positive side of it, that's a good thing. But on the flip side of it, especially if you're black, somebody's going to have to pay for these babies. And that person may be you if you're not careful. Anyway, I don't want to make this long. It's something to watch out for. The real test is going to be when it goes to the Supreme Court, and I may do a video when it actually does. But till then, this is BGS out, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.